Grim and apocalyptic in tone. We are all familiar with variations of this warning. Our technological consumer society has destabilized the natural systems that sustain us. And in order to avert disaster, we must quickly and radically alter our individual and collective ways of living. This is a very powerful message that captures the urgency and magnitude of our current cultural and ecological moment. Such messages also help us understand the global consequences of our individual behaviors. At the same time, they can create a feeling of powerlessness. How then do we maintain our own sense of hope, a sense that it is worth acting on behalf of a sustainable future? Or more simply, how do we imagine the future in new and inspiring ways? I offer these thoughts to help us contextualize our topic for this year's dialogue, but I want to emphasize again that the conversation during the event is not limited to these concepts. As panelists and audience participants share their reflections, the dialogue will take its own direction. I would like now to introduce our panelists. Please welcome Arabella Daniels of the Student Farm Worker Alliance and Cruz Solucio of the Coalition of Immokalee Workers. I'll introduce the panelists and then we'll have them offer their presentations. SFA and CIW, the Student Farm Worker Alliance and the Coalition of Immokalee Workers, have made great strides towards social and economic justice through education, media, and action. So we've invited them to share their work and story with us. Jacob Scott, an FGCU alumnus and center advisor, is the dialogue's first ever virtual panelist. You can see him on the screen up there. Jake grew up in Naples, Florida, and currently resides in Bristol, England, where he is just entering the legal profession. We've invited him to reflect on new ways to communicate the message of sustainability. Let's give him a round of applause. He can hear us. Hi, Jake. And lastly, Ishmael Beah is author of A Long Way Gone, Memoirs of a Boy Soldier, and delivered FGCU's 2008 Convocation address. As a writer and communicator with a powerful message, we believe Ishmael Beah brings creative insights to our panel. He is a member of the Human Rights Watch Children's Rights Division Advisory Committee and has spoken before the United Nations, the Council on Foreign Relations, and many other NGO panels on children affected by war. Finally, lastly, I want to mention that the Center tries to maintain an open and inclusive definition of the term sustainability. The 16 ethical principles of the Earth Charter encompass a wide social and ecological spectrum and inform much of our thinking on the meaning of environmental sustainability. We believe that in addition to ecological integrity, the concept emphasizes social and economic justice, as well as democracy, nonviolence, and peace. The diverse efforts of our panelists invite us to imagine sustainability widely conceived. And without further ado, Arabella and Cruz.
Hi, good evening.
Okay, muy buenas noches. Mi nombre es Cruz. Soy miembro de la Coalición de Trabajadores de Immokalee. Creo que Immokalee queda más o menos 45 minutos de aquí.
So, hi, good evening. My name is Cruz Solucio. I'm a worker from the Coalition of Immokalee Workers from Immokalee, Florida, which is about 45 minutes away from here.
Y bueno, gracias por invitarnos a hablar un poco sobre lo que nosotros estamos haciendo, lo que es la sostenibilidad en la comunidad más que nada.
And so thank you guys all for having us here tonight. I'm going to talk to you about sustainability, but more in the communities more than anything else is what we're working on.
Ya, la coalición está formado por una comunidad de trabajadores que venimos de diferentes países, como de México, de Guatemala, Centroamérica, de Haití y otros países.
So the coalition is made up of agricultural workers from different countries such as Mexico, Guatemala, Haiti, and different countries in Central America.
Donde, bueno, casi las personas pues vienen con diferentes culturas. Por ejemplo, muchos de nosotros hablamos diferentes idiomas en la comunidad.
And so this is a community where, being as we all come from different places, a lot of us speak different languages and have different backgrounds.
Un ejemplo, por ejemplo, en Immokalee pues se hablan varios idiomas. Uno de los ejemplos se habla el mam, el canjobal y otros. Entonces, el segundo lengua de nosotros es el español, que hablamos un poco.
And so for many of us in the community of Immokalee, coming from like Central America, Spanish is actually our second language, and our first languages are often indigenous languages like Canjoval, Mam, Cachiquel, things like that.
Entonces nosotros lo que hacemos es aprovechar también algunos medios importantes. Y uno de los medios que usamos, por ejemplo, la parte que ven por acá en este dibujo, es más como una forma, un código que usamos para la comunidad. Por ejemplo, si algunos no hablan idioma, no pueden entender muy bien por el idioma español, entonces ayuda a que ellos puedan reflexionar mediante un dibujo.
So one of the ways that we like to take advantage of different media means of communication is through popular education. As I was saying earlier, we have people that come from different places. Maybe they can't read very well, or they speak different languages, and so a way for them to understand things and analyze things is for us to do what we call popular education, which you can see an example of here.
Nuestra comunidad es una comunidad de trabajadores agrícolas y muchas veces, por ejemplo, lo que enfrentamos en los campos de trabajo, los bajos salarios que no han cambiado desde 30 años, por ejemplo.
So, and a lot of time for us as workers, where we're as agricultural workers, we're faced with things such as extremely low salaries, human rights abuses in the field. For example, we haven't had a wage increase in over 30 years.
Malas condiciones, no hay ningún tipo de beneficio en el trabajo. También a causa de eso, también empuja que hay esclavitud en los campos de trabajo.
And so, as I was saying, low wages, human rights abuses, modern day slavery, as well as one of the realities that we face in our work industry.
Entonces, por ejemplo, en este caso podemos dar a entender cómo es que también los que tienen un poder grande en la industria agrícola aprovechan de mantener el trabajador de esas condiciones.
So what we do in the community is we use drawings like this to explain to workers how the agricultural industry profits and takes advantage of us as agricultural workers.
Y eso lo hacemos en la comunidad, pegando en los lugares de trabajo, y luego pues nos juntamos, por ejemplo, hoy que es miércoles, juntamos para poder reflexionar mediante un dibujo, y eso ayuda para que la gente entienda que también puede defenderse.
And so this is something that we use in the community. We hand it out on the streets. We post them up on poles. And we also have meetings. In fact, tonight we have a meeting. We have meetings every Wednesday night with workers from the community where we go over these things and we analyze these drawings. And basically it's a way to raise consciousness with workers to say, you know, as workers, we do have rights. And we shouldn't be treated like this, and as a way to communicate with one another.
Siguiente dibujo. También, por ejemplo, esto, muchas veces uno pasa la vida como trabajando desde, por ejemplo, desde 1978, por ejemplo, empieza uno a trabajar y muchas veces uno da la vida como por completo en los campos de trabajo, pero cuando terminas de trabajar en los campos de trabajo, pues no tienes ningún tipo de beneficio. De esta forma, pues nosotros reflexionamos, usamos este medio para poder educar a nuestra comunidad.
And so, for example, also as you can see in this drawing, it's another drawing we use in the meetings, where somebody can start out, they can pick their whole lives, and basically they will never get a wage increase, they will never have any type of benefits, and this is a really powerful message that we use to explain. As you can see, they haven't had a wage increase since 1978. We give these to workers as a way to reflect upon what is happening in our community, and it's a very powerful thing for us.
Entonces, ya como teniendo esa conciencia de que nosotros tenemos un problema, nosotros empezamos también a ver qué podemos hacer para poder cambiar estas condiciones. Por eso también tenemos una campaña grande por comida justa, por ejemplo.
And so using this popular education, we reflect on our conditions and what we're facing, and that's what's basically led us to what we're working on today, which is the campaign for fair food.
Yeah. Por ejemplo, este dibujo, esos son los nuevos dibujos que estamos usando ahorita. Para entender un poco cómo es que también otras corporaciones estamos haciendo una campaña con los grandes compradores de tomate, por ejemplo McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Publix, todo lo demás. Hemos tenido grandes acuerdos con esas corporaciones que han tomado responsabilidad de mejorar las condiciones de vida de los trabajadores.
And so, for example, I have in my hands right here, this is a drawing hot off the press. We just made it. It's going to be used in the meeting tonight. And it's a way of showing how basically there's the card that represents the agricultural industry, and the people trying to push the car onto the right path. You can see the workers, some of the people we've reached agreements with to better